So this count function falls under aggregation functions. Look here, we have different topics, or under different categories we have different DAX functions are available. In the aggregation functions category, we have something called count function, sum function, average function. Within the count itself, we have different variants of count functions are available. Count function, count A function, count AX function, count X function, count blank, count rows, count distinct count. Okay. So how many? 7 different count functions are available under the count itself, count family of functions. Okay. Here, what I did to simplify your understanding, I have classified under 2 categories. One is excluding blanks, other one is including blanks. These count functions, when you use it, it will exclude the blank values in your column. Okay. And the below one, these count functions will include the blanks. Okay. The count function, what it does is it counts the number of values in a numeric column or the numeric and text column, numeric text and date column, it will work, but with the logical value, right, it will not work. For the logical value, it will not work. And next one is the so dates, I just write it here. The count function will work with the dates column. If you have a date column and numbers, strings, it will work. Okay, in case of any logical value, true or false. What do you mean by logical value? Or the Boolean values, logical value or Boolean values, both of them are same. Boolean values are true or false, true or false. These are called Boolean logical value or Boolean value. Okay. The count function work with all the data types except the logical value. Count A function. Okay, here the A tells us all the data type. So it works with all the data type, but it will not, while checking. For example, you have, you have something called region. The region you have north, east, west, south is something like that is there. And somewhere you have blank value, okay, and then west is there. So when you use the count A function, these are text data type. It will count the number of values in this column, but it excludes the blank value. So how many non-blank values are there? 2, 4, 5, 6 non-blank values are there. Okay. Count work with all the data types, but count works all the data types except the logical or Boolean data type. And next one is the countEx function. Okay, that's what all the 4 functions, it will not take into account of the count. Blank value. In case of any blank value is there, it will not count it. Okay, simply ignore it. The countEx function. Remember one thing very clearly when it comes to DAX, whichever function that ends with X, that is called iterative function. Iterative function. Okay, iterative function. The counting. That means it can perform the computation row by row. Okay. The countEx function is called iterating function. And now you can see count EX also. The count EX and count function, both of them, resembles, the same functionality in one aspect. Like count function, the countEx function works with all the data type except logical value. But unlike count function, the countEx function, it performs row by row evaluation. Okay. Next one, the count AX. See, this one is somewhat, matches with this one, right? And similarly, this one matches this one. Okay, somewhat, resembles the functionality of count A function. It works with all the data type. Since it ends with X, even this one is also an iterative function. Row by row, it will evaluate. Okay. It works with all the data type, and it will be evaluated by the expression that is there part of this function, right? That one will get evaluated row by row, but even in this case it will exclude the blanks. All the 4 function exclude, and count AX function, right, works with all the data type, whereas the count and countEx function, it doesn't work with the Boolean data type, Rest of the data it will work. But net all the four count functions, these count functions, it will exclude the blanks when it counts the value in the column. Next one is including blanks. Distinct count counts distinct values in a column, including blanks. Including blanks. So you take it, for example, in this case, what is the distinct count? How many distinct values are the unique values? And the south two times, okay, and west is appearing more than one time, right? It will take only one, it take into account of only one time. So n is one time, yn two, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. It will not take into account w because it's already repeating, right? Repeated values will not be taken into account. Okay. So, but it will take into account of the blank values also, 6 distinct count. Count blanks. It will count only the blank value. Here only one value is there, right? Count only one blank. Count number of rows in a table. Whether you have blank or repeated values, total number of records are there. How many number of records are there here? 7, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, including blank 7. So this is how you can distinguish with one set of count functions with other set of count functions. The distinct count, count blanks, count rows, all these things will take into account of the blank values, but whereas the remaining count function will not take into account of the blank values. I just go here and I'll show you the count. There is a separate, already I have some report instead of wasting time. The interview, they'll ask you all the questions, okay? You need to be familiar with all the things. The count family demo. Okay, I just open this file. In the meantime, we'll close this file. Oh my God, I did not, I included few columns. Save, yeah. Keep revising all the topics. You will have one test. In the interest of time, first I want to finish up the course, and then probably, right, I will share the assignment to you all. Some scenario based assignments. You can work on it, okay, and you can submit it. Or in class also we can do that. Some cases you will have some online test. Online test is not that easy. The moment you sign up there, it will take it will record a video. Okay, you need to see the video. It will record it. In case you use Control C, Control V, the test will get ended. Okay. So in that kind of situation, so there are some opportunities. Work from home opportunities are available. In that case, the evaluation process is very, very tough. Online test, you have to clear it. Okay. And here, look here, this is my data set, the sales by customer. Look here, I just go and show you the data set. This is my data set. I have a text column, customer's name, and unit sold is the whole number, integer. Okay, this is a decimal number, and let it be there. This is your Boolean data type. Look here, true, false is there. And you need to, it's case sensitive, right? You need to use like this. Okay, capital T, true, capital F, false. Okay, true, false. And this is a text column. Okay, this is my data set. With this simple data set, I look here, all the data, whatever you see it, right? The same thing that I put it here in the table visual. Look here, this is my table visual. I clicked on it. I put all the columns that are available in my table so that we don't have to, go here and check. If the data is available along with this thing, right, it'll be pretty easier. Look here, I have something called chord visual. We discussed about chord visual, right? Look here, Can you all see it? So this is the chord visual. When you click on it, it will get displayed here. See here what I did, I have created a measure called count sales 1M. Okay. And I just go and check. This is how, if I share this file, this is how you need to check it. Okay. Count count sales one, right? Sorry, count is equal to sound space sales one. This is the one, sales 1M. This is the measure that I used it. Count one sales M equal to count sales by customer sales. So in this table, I have a column by the name sales available. I have used the count function. I have applied the count function on this column. Inside, or in other words, inside the count function, I put this column, sales column, that is available in this table. So, and if you see here, this is, in the count sales one measure, I dragged and dropped it into this chord visual. I just show you guys, okay? Existing one, if I show it, you may not be able to. Please concentrate here. Look here, how to create a measure. How to create a measure, go to the modeling ribbon, click on the new measure. Modeling ribbon, you have other ways to create the measure, but start with understand the modeling ribbon. When I clicked on the model, I could see measure. I click on the measure. The measure 3 here, what I do is, I just, count sales demo or something like that. Okay, here, count function is the built-in function, DAX function. Here, I just say some column, sales column, I'm going to use it. Sales column is available where you need to scroll down and see. Yeah, here the sales column is available here. I just put the closed parenthesis, press enter. I have created a measure by the name of count sales demo. No error, no syntax error. Very good. So now how to use that measure? Click on the chord visual. Look here, I just drop this. Chord visual is helpful for troubleshooting also, like whether it displays the correct value or not in the measure, right? Count sales 2 only I created, right? So what is the name that I've given? Demo. This is the one. Count sales demo. I just drag and drop it here. 50K. Look here. This is the one I have created. Count sales demo. Right. This is my measure name. The measure got created, but you cannot see the value immediately, right? Immediately after creating the measure. So once you create the measure, you need to drag and drop it inside a visual. You can use any visual. Since this is going to return only one value, I have used the chord visual. That's how I created the rest of the thing. Okay. Count sales. 1 second. Count sales demo. It gives me something wrong here. Sorry, here I should not have sales W04. Sales by customer. Column name same, but I did it intentionally to check whether you people are concentrating here or not. See this data set related to sales by customer, right? Look here, 6. So that is what I did it here also. I created a measure and this is called measure. Okay, how I created, click on the modeling ribbon, click on the new measure. It will open up something like, formula bar. In Excel, how it opens the formula, right? So here it will open up and here you need to give some meaningful name, not like count sales demo and all. Okay, give some meaningful name. Here you need to use the function. Okay, in this case, my intention is to show the demo of how the count function works. And here you can see in the sales column, now, you created the measure, you dragged and dropped it into a visual called chord visual. And you need to, if you see here, right, you just, I just move this down. The sales column, how many non-blank values are there? 1, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 non-blank values are. So the count function worked very well. It simply ignored the blanks. Here you have one blank value, here you have one blank value here. So 3 blank values it ignored. Non-blank values are 6. That is how the count function worked. Similarly, I have created the count A function. Look here. So I selected this visual, chord visual. I clicked on it here. It got highlighted. And then you need to look at it here. What column that I used it. Sorry, 1 second is going. It is count A active. So this is a measure, okay? Instead of column, I use the measure here, and then you count A active M. Look here, when you click on it here. So in this case, in this table, I have a column by the name of active. I have used this count A function this time instead of count function. I have applied the count A function on the active column. Okay, so and then I dragged and dropped the count A function, count A active M function into this chord visual. Okay, like I have shown you here, right? The same thing. Once you create a measure, you need to use it. In this case, I use the chord visual. In the chord visual, I just dragged and drop it. I'll just show you guys one more time. Look here, this is the measure. You need to drag and drop this. That's all here. So which column that I use it here? Active column, right? So this is the one active column. How many non-blank values are there? 5. Look here, it displays 5. The count A function works with the Boolean data type. This is called Boolean data type. If you use the count function on this active column, Boolean data, it will throw an error. It will not work. That is what, here, so you will get something like this, blank value. Look here, sales M, the function count cannot work as a Boolean type. Okay. And count active M, I used it. When I see this one, I created for the other batch. Okay. And count active M, count function, I applied it on top of the Boolean data type. The active column is a Boolean data type. And then I dragged and dropped that measure into a chord visual. It is showing nothing. That means error. So when you click on the C details, you can see the error here. The calculation of the measure sales M, the function count cannot work with the values of type Boolean. Got it? Active is a Boolean data type. Hence, the count function is not working. So whatever I told you a while back, it was true, right? Okay. The count function works with all the data type except the Boolean data type. Count A function works with even the Boolean data type, which means all the data. But it ignores the blank values. Next one is the countX function. CountX, I use the CountX filter measure, something like that. So look here, this is when I select this one, I can see in the field section, right? CountX filter measure. So I'm going to in the search, I just say CountX filter measure. If you select this one, see in this case, in the CountX function, see, remember one more thing, the function that ends with X, I told you, these are called iterative function. The iterative function takes the first argument as the table. You cannot simply specify the column name, it will throw an error. Okay, now the question is, now instead of table, I mentioned the filter function. Filter is also another function, DAX function. In the filter function, also called as an iterative function, the first argument for the filter function is table. So that's all, no more confusions. So there is an exception. All the functions that ends with X called iterative function. There is an exception. Filter function is also an iterative function. Don't ask me, you said all the function ends with X, those are called iterative function. Now you are saying filter is also an iterative function. Likewise, how many iterative functions are? No, no, no. Only one iterative function that does not ends with X is filter. Here, like I told you, right, any iterative function, the first argument is supposed to be table. Since filter is also an iterative function, the first argument is table. And here I'm using some condition. Filter, so the filter function returns a virtual table. Behind the scene, it virtual table. What will happen is here, how many truths are there? Only 3 records, right? Only these 3 records will be stored in a virtual table. And then it performs the count on this customer column. Look here. I'm using a condition based on active column with the filtering. I'm filtering the data based on this. In this case, in my virtual table, only 3 records will be there. Wherever active true is there, right? Only those records. Say barren, and 22 will be there in my data set, virtual table. And then after filtering that, you do the customer column, you check how many non-blank values are there. And here it shows CountX filter measure shows 4, right? Yeah, CountX filter measure shows 4. Okay, one second. Yeah, four truths are there. One, two, three, four truths are there. Four records with the true will get stored in a virtual table. In that table, it will apply the count on the customer column. So here one, here we don't have blank value, right? So one and two, three, four. So that's why it returns four. Count x function. Okay. Next one is the count ex function. Like count x function, the count ex function also iterative become function because it ends with x. You can see this is the measure that I used it, count ex filter measure. I just click on it here. You can see that count ax. Here also I use the filter function, the same thing. This time I'm counting the number of non-blank values on the active column. Active is a Boolean data type. Okay, I intentionally used active column to make you to understand the count A function work with all the data types, including the Boolean data type. So here also it gives 4, right? That is this function, this measure I just dragged and dropped it here. So now you understood what is count function and count A function. Count works with all the data type except the Boolean. Count A works with all the data type. So this I have given you demo. The count function does not work with the Boolean. For that I have given this demo. And then next one is the count x and count x. Both of them are iterative function, but the count x function doesn't work with Boolean data type, and the count x works with all the data type. Okay, but both of them are iterative function. Okay, since both of them are iterative function, the first argument is supposed to be table, but I have used intentionally the filter function inside the count x function and count x function. The filter function also returns a table. That table contains only three values, right? Four values, four truths. Active equal to true, filter only those four records. And then, and then you count, and you count the non-blank value in the customer column. Whereas in the case of count X, count the non-blank values on the active column for the records that have only truths in it. 4. Next one is pretty simple. These are the these are the count functions that will include the blank values. Count distinct measure, I selected it. You need to look at the fields section here, count distinct measure. You need to click on the cross here and count, search it here, count distinct measure. Look here, the tick mark also you can find it. Okay, distinct count. So it gives me 7 values. So here I just computed the total number of values that are there in the customer column. Since the account distinct, right, it will include the blank values on the customer column. 1 second, count distinct on the unique values. Okay, distinct count on the customer column. So Baron repeats how many times? So how many values are there? 9, right? 9, you need to remove the 2 because Baron repeats more than one time. Since you have duplicate, it will take into account of only one. Okay. So here, this value is not repeating. This value is repeating, hence it will take only one value. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, distinct count. Here we don't have any blank value. Okay, fine. It is. So now you understood, right? Distinct. Whenever you heard the term distinct, it will take into account of only the unique values. Even though you have the blank value, sorry, repeated values, duplicate, it takes into account only one value. The rest of the duplicate it ignores. Count distinct, and next one is count blanks. Count blanks. Count blank. Here units sold. Okay, and here you have the units sold column. How many blank values are there here? 1, 2, 3, right? It returns 3. Count rows, and I just show you what count rows measure 3. Count rows in the total, how many number of records are there in this table? Count rows takes only the table as an argument. 9 records are there. That's all, guys. This wraps up the count family of functions. I repeated many times. Again, I don't want to repeat it. You will get annoyed if I repeat it, right? So we have 4 count functions that ignores the blank values, and we have 3 count function that takes into account of the blank values, the distinct count and count rows, count blanks. These 3 functions takes into account of only the blank value also. Okay, takes into account of the blank values also, but count blanks will give you only the blank values. How many number of blank values are there in a column? So in that kind of situation, this is the one you can use it. Okay. This wraps up the